Good morning, TNT boys and girls. I hope you're doing well. I am actually up in Townsend, Tennessee. This is our national headquarters for the ministry and the organization that I work for. I'm doing some teaching and some training up here. But I found some time to break away and share with you our lesson for this week in Awana, lesson 3.6. It's titled Jesus Restores. This is a great lesson, and it's a good reminder for all of us. If you remember, so far, all of our stories in this lesson have focused on Jesus. We've talked about how Jesus prayed. We've talked about how Jesus served, how he gave, how he sacrificed. Last week, we talked about how Jesus was resurrected. Jesus lives again. Today, we're going to be talking about Jesus restoring. That word restore just simply means to make right, or to bring back, or complete, or to mend, to like sew or fix. Jesus restores. Who did he have to restore? Well, if you remember, some of the things that happened right before Jesus' death, he had a meal with his disciples. And Jesus was telling them that it was his time, he was about to die, and that they were all going to scatter. They were all going to leave. Peter spoke up and said, "Nope, not me. I'm gonna follow you. I will be right there with you. I'll never leave you." And Jesus said, "Unfortunately, Peter, you're going to deny me 3 times before the rooster crows in the morning." Well, they get on with the meal, they finish up, and they get to the garden, and Jesus is arrested. The disciples are getting real nervous about what's going on, and they begin to scatter. And Peter's kind of lingering behind. He's kind of sticking close to Jesus, and things are getting really intense. And someone recognizes Peter and says, "Hey, aren't you one of the disciples?" And he just quickly said, "No, he wasn't." He denied Christ. In fact, he did it 2 more times. And the Bible records that Peter heard the rooster crow. And when the rooster crowed, Peter remembered Jesus' words. And he felt so awful. He felt awful. But thankfully, Peter's story doesn't end there. After Christ's resurrection, Jesus appeared to his disciples while they were fishing. Later that day, Jesus spoke with Peter, and he restored the relationship that was broken. He mended it. He fixed it. Jesus not only forgave Peter, but he also encouraged Peter to continue to love and to serve, no matter what would happen. Peter's life changed, and he began to boldly proclaim the truth of Jesus to all who would listen. Peter preached some amazing sermons after this. His relationship with Christ had been restored. He knew that he was going to have to face much persecution, and he followed Christ all the more. He knew that it was going to be difficult, but he followed Christ all the more because Christ had restored him. Our memory verse actually comes from 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 10. "But may the God of all grace, who called us to his eternal glory by Christ Jesus, after you have suffered a while, perfect, established, strengthened, and settle you." 1 Peter 5:10. I want to encourage you to work on that verse, memorize it, tell it to your parent or your Awana leader so you can get credit for it. I want to also encourage you to stay caught up with the lessons. If you're behind, that's okay. My group of guys, even my 2 boys, they're a little behind, but we try to stay after it and at least get a lesson a week done. So I want to encourage you to stay stay after it, get working towards getting caught up. We all want to be back together in person, and hopefully we can do that soon. Miss you guys. Have a good day.